గట్టిగా చెప్తారు హాస్టల్లో మారింది అమ్మాయి ఎక్కడ Yeah. Let's go ahead with the continuation of this chapter 5, religion. And so far we have noted some essential features of religion also, and some anthropological approaches to study religion as well. And some components of religion like sacred and profane and myths and rituals. So who gave this dichotomy of sacred and profane? As per our discussion we had yesterday, one person came up with this distinction, right? Between things which are sacred, places, persons which are sacred, and those which are not sacred called profane. Kaun hai? Emile Durkheim. Yes. Oh, who is he? He is a French sociologist and anthropologist. Also liked his way of explanation, because several other anthropologists also followed his footsteps, like Malinowski and Ratcliffe Brown. So that's the reason we develop interest in Durkheim also. And Durkheim's explanation of religion is based on what? Which approach? Functional approach. And according to him, religion plays some functions. It first of all brings together people from different walks of life. People, yeah, it brings about social solidarity. It brings about social togetherness or social cohesion. It provides succor to people, relief to people in terms of during the times of crisis. Religion shows a hope in the times of despair. So religion has many functions. So the way you see, I mean, to every person it might be unique. Some people say it's not only functional, it's not just about society, it's about individual. Religion plays a role at the individual level, because individuals' psychological stresses and strains are reduced. If we ask Malinowski, he says like this. Malinowski, while studying the Trowbridge Society, has seen that religion and magic, of course, these people do perform magic. He saw that religion actually reduces the stress and strain of the day-to-day life of the Trowbridge people. And these people also perform some religious rites and magical rites before they took something important, like they start some important work. For example, if they are going on a Kula voyage, you have this voyage, right? Kula ring ke usko jate hain. So when he is in voyage, this a chief, before he goes to the voyage of the Kula, and he along with his associates perform some magical rites and perform some religious ceremonies. Why? Because though they are experts in all these trade activities, fishing also, and canoe building also, they always invoke means they bring about, they call into witness some supernatural forces, such that their journey will be successful. The way we pray, no, whenever we start something new, we pray all that. Even for that matter, our ISRO scientists in India, before they launch some polar satellite launch vehicle or some other program, definitely some of the ISRO directors had this practice of going to Tirumala and Tirupati, they offering the puja there for successful completion of the mission. So even in civilized societies, not just in simple societies, but also in civilized societies too, people take the help of magic and religion, in spite of the fact that they follow science. So all these things are intertwined, right? And some of the practices that we notice, this is a very small topic, but only dictation will take some time. Roughly, I'll discuss all of them. Animism, we have already noted. What is animism? Shall we zoom a bit? Yeah, it is a worship of spiritual beings like souls and spirits. Animism means the form of worship involving spirits or the worship of spirits. Because the root word anima has given rise to the term animism. And also there is another word called animatism. Animism, animatism, all we have here. Right? So for example, tribal religion is of different types I was mentioning. Animism we know. We have already discussed that in a good deal. Animism comes from the term anima, which means soul. Anima, Greek word, soul in English. And there is another thing called as animatism. We have noted who has contributed to animism, the theory of animism. Who explained? E.B. Tyler, Edward Burnett Tyler. But his student, R.R. Marett. There is a person called R.R. Marett. M-A-R-R-E-T-T. M-A-R-R-E-T-T. R.R. Marett. This man believed that there is something called as mana. Because the word animatism is based on the root word mana. Mana is equal to some impersonal force. Impersonal force present in, or an innate force or power. Innate power present in people and objects, trees, birds, which comes from a Melanesian word. This mana is actually a Melanesian word because in Melanesia, people believe that their chiefs possess mana. A rabbit's foot possesses mana. A spear possesses mana. These people can actually threaten a cloud, a big crowd which is going to burst. They say, don't come, we will kill you, we will destroy you. Okay? There are some Indian people, that island people and Indian people, they throw the spear to that, show the spear, and they believe that that spear has mana. A chief has mana. A Melanesian chief has mana. Any person who is having like lot of power is thought to be possessing this mana. So mana is the innate force or that impersonal force that is present in beings, and people following mana are said to be following animatism. And according to R.R. Marett, animatism actually predated animism. Not animism was the first form of religion. He simply disagreed with his teacher. Though Tyler is his teacher, what Tyler said, animism is the first form of religion. But Mr. Marett said, sir, please excuse me, though you are my teacher, I don't agree with you. Because those days we cannot think the primitive people to be so like logical and so rational such that they create one kind of, belief in the soul theory. And it's very difficult for us to imagine that. But definitely people felt that some objects and people have some power. So they started worshipping those objects and people and animals and plants because they have some power. If you actually respect it, those objects and people and animals will respect you and protect you. But if you don't, you are bound to suffer. You will definitely suffer. So that is the concept of animatism or manaism. It is also called as manaism by some people. And some people like it is equivalent to something called as Bongaism, followed in the central India by central Indian people. The central Indian tribes people follow something called as Bongaism. They attribute a great power to their nature as well as some natural objects and also their spirits. and they have this innate impersonal force or power called as mana or bonga. Is it visible? The yellow letters there? What is this man doing here? He's sacrificing, yes. So people sacrifice these animals and birds to propitiate their spirits, ancestral spirits and other spirits. And um, because of this, he said, people do not have that much smartness. They were not so smart that you are imagining. You are making philosophers out of savages. Savages ke andar ek philosopher dhundna, it's very difficult. They will not be available. Sorry, sir, I don't agree. But I do say, Manaism is the first religion in the world. You write down this line. So according to R.R. Marett, Manaism is the first religion in the world because he believed in the Melanesian. He believed that the Melanesians, he believed that Manaism is the earliest form of religion because he believed that Melanesians existed in the islands, because Melanesians existed in the islands since times immemorial, existed in the islands since times immemorial, and they since and because they believe in Manaism, because they believe in Manaism, it must be the earliest form of religion. It must be the earliest form of religion. He did not agree. He did not agree to the contention of. He did not agree to the contention. CONTENTION. Contention of E.B. Tyler. Contention of E.B. Tyler, who believed that animism, who believed, nikal do, contention of E.B. Tyler, that E.B. Tyler, that animism is the first form of religion. Who believed that animism is the first form of religion. Okay. Now, what is fetishism? Fetishism, yes, it is worshipping of an object. So fetishism comes from a root word called fetikos. Fetikos means an object having supernatural power, and that too with a specific shape. On you write like this: an object which is shaped in a typical manner, in a typical or unique manner. And which possesses supernatural power. So, fetishism is based on objects usually. पता नहीं आप लोग देखे कि नहीं. There was one Korean movie called Parasites, an extraordinary movie, Oscar-winning movie. Parasite करके एक super movie. You must watch it. Parasite, Korean movie, definitely will have English subtitles. Okay, in that, an entire family of some not so middle class, but slightly lesser than middle class, poor people, entire family become parasites on a rich family. And all that in that entire backdrop, there is a very typically shaped stone. The family, head of the family, that man finds a stone and he thinks that that stone is lucky and it looks very, its shape is very unique and interesting. And he takes the stone home. From that day onwards, they think that they have actually got this family, rich family. The one of the daughters goes to give tuitions to the kids. Then she smartly makes, incorporates her brother. उसके बाद you are looking for a cook. Cook को बोल के उसके mother को अंदर घुसा देती है. And his father, he is a watchman or something or driver करके सबको उसके घर में घुसा देती है. And they want to get hold of that wealth very smartly. But in the end, it's like disaster for everyone. So wherever that stone goes, people actually get destroyed. It's a bad stone. I mean, they just showed that kind of a correlation, but the idea is there is a greed of particular people destroys everyone. But in that movie, they have shown that stone. And several times we also wear some talismans, right? Talismans, some stones, lucky stone, ye charm, ye sab karte log, kai ko, because they think it has got some power. And this power is also attributed to even not just fetishes, but also like in animal plants also and animals also. Some tulsi, for example, tulsi, neem trees in India, they are supposed to have divine powers and sacred powers. So like that, people attribute power and they think that the typically shaped stone or object has some powers. That is called fetishism. And what else we have? We have naturism. Naturism. What is naturism or naturalism? Some books have written naturalism, but naturism is also accepted. It is widely used. Simply the worship of nature and its how do I say, and its objects. That's it. We cannot say any other word. Objects are things. Even sun is an object according to, if we see like that. What should be the correct word? I'm not getting the correct word. It's natural. क्या बोल सकते हैं sun को, moon को? Natural object only. What about earth? What about river? What about ocean? In fact, there were some people like Revelier and Max Muller. These people have gone to understand, that has gone to believe that naturism or nature worship is the first form of religion or the earliest form of religion. Max Muller is a very famous person. He studied India and he is like called as a famous Indologist. So this man said, this kind of a belief did not come just like that. People since thousands of years were worshipping these natural objects, stars, moons, sun, then earth, all these elements are natural elements. That is a word I'm not getting. Yeah. Nature and its elements. This is the best word. Sky, earth. And why suddenly they became objects or elements of worship? Some people started questioning. And Max Miller said, it all arose in the language. Right? It arose, he said, it means nature worship arose in language. What kind of language he's talking about? He's saying the way humans attribute feminist gender or male gender, female gender to certain objects or elements that became regular, and people started attributing powers to them. For example, the sun rises in the moon. Does actually sun rises? Does sun rise? Who said all that? Somebody, some XYZ person long back. He has said sun rises, sun sets, moon comes into the picture, flowers blossom, and the way humans act, and somebody said the skies have opened, skies have smiled. Skies have opened. Do they really open like this? Do they open? No. When rain comes, there is in English language, they say sky open. And in this fashion, all the natural elements were attributed some kind of a functionality because of their, and some power due to this kind of usage in language or representation in language. And people started believing it to be true. The next generations believed that yes, the sun rises, because the sun rises, and because sun is responsible for heat and light and warmth. And later people realized that because of sun rays, plants are actually growing, and they are giving food and oxygen to us. And that became sealed. That belief became sealed forever in the minds of the people, that they started worshipping them continuously without questioning their physical characteristics like heat, warmth, etc. They thought that it is like a blessing from the nature, because nature is equated to the mother and the feminine gender. Earth, mother nature they call. Earth is also nature. Why? Earth is also female. Why? If you put some seeds, it will give you crop. Just like a woman, if a man puts his seeds inside a woman, she gives a baby. It is actually seed only. Sperm is actually, in Greek, sperm means seed. So sperm matlab seed ho gaya, and a woman gives a baby. Similarly, feminine gender. And why rivers have been given feminine gender? See, the gender also becomes important here. Just like people are trying to relate themselves with the nature. So they become, since they have powers, they can destroy or create life overnight. Correct? Suddenly, overnight flooding aage to pura half of Hyderabad will go into submersion. So aisa hota hai. So female gender is given to them. Why? Have you ever questioned? Rivers are all given female gender. Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, Godavari, Krishna, Bhima, and any river you're talking about. Why? Because they are also responsible for fertility. Unless they are given, the soils will not be fertile. We have fertile soils along the river valleys only, river valleys and coastal areas where rich alluvium is deposited. And male gender is given to the ocean. Even in Hindi also, Sanskrit also, even Greek also. Greek people have their goddesses and gods, like the way Hindus have. They have god, goddess for everyone. Atlas is one god. Hercules is one god. They are not cycle names. Actually, cycle people have given bicycle, Atlas cycle, Hercules cycle. These days you can't see them, by the way. And many other usages have become popular in people's mind and language, that this attribution become final. So this is about naturism. And what about the last but not the least? We already know that. What is the last one? Totemism. And we have spoken at length, no, yesterday also. Totemism is a worship of totems, which are symbolic ancestors. These totems are symbolic ancestors. I'm putting this means, totems means they are symbolic representations of ancestors of a group. Here you write, what do you write in the brackets? Usually clan. So we know what is totemism. So All these are discussed. Animism, animatism, fetishism, then also your nature worship or naturism, and finally the totemism. And this is a cakewalk thing, just like fact, and you just write the point and facts, examples, and that's it. And you are through. Oh. This one you want? Yeah. Now you kindly take down some notes on animism. Animism as a side heading lagao, and you write elaborate notes on that. The term animism is derived from the Greek word anima, Greek word anima, and means Greek word anima and means soul or spirit. Soul or spirits. And animism means belief in souls or spirits. Belief in souls or spirits. One minute. Tyler describes soul as a thin. Tyler describes soul, S-O-U-L, soul as a thin, unsubstantial human image in its nature, a sort of vapor or film or shadow. In its nature, a sort of vapor or film or shadow. It is the cause of life. It is the cause of life and thought. It is a cause of life and thought in the individual, and it animates independently, possessing the personal consciousness, and volition, VOLITION, personal consciousness and volition of its corporal owner, CORPORAL, corporal owner, put a dash, corporal owner, past or present. Acha, whatever I am teaching, whatever I am sharing on the slides, writing on the board, sometimes explaining and you are writing running notes, teen ho gaya. Okay, please focus here. First, there is a slide matter available, number 1. Second, I write some more annotations, number 2. 2, 3, something which I speak and you write in your own words, number 3, running notes, plus dictated notes, plus handout, then you make a final notes. Okay? ऐसा ही जल्दबाजी में ऐसे ही, there is no point in writing, believing in only this notes. These notes, okay, some topics are covered here excellently. Some are purely facts. I don't, give detailed explanation on that. Those are already available in the handouts. Some are covered here itself. So it all depends on the way you are actually understanding this. So don't get carried away by only one side of the discussion, because all this, when you come, put together, then it will give you a comprehensive notes. That is a final notes. Okay? So hope you have understood. So corporal owner, past or present. Next, some societies believe in the existence of a single soul, comma, others in double souls, and some in multiple souls. People also believe that the soul resides. RESIDES, resides in the breath, in our breath, comma, heart, hair, head, or elsewhere, depending upon the belief system, of each society. The soul is considered to be in the breath, BREATH. The soul is considered to be in the breath by the Javanese people. Javanese or Java people, JAVANESC, Javanese people or simply Java people. The term Nava, N-A-W-A, the term Nava among them means, N-A-W-A, among them means breath or life or soul. Breath. breath, breath or life or soul. The Malays believe, next, the Malays, Malays, the Malays believe that life escapes through the nostrils. That the life escapes through the nostrils. Next, the Seminoles, SCMI, the Seminoles, SCMINOLES, Seminoles of Southeast America have the custom of holding. The Seminoles of Southeast America have the custom of holding a child very close to the nostrils, very close to the nostrils of a dying mother, so that the life force of the mother, may come to the child. The Hebrew people, the Hebrew, Hebrew, sorry, Hebrew, the Hebrew people have a term, nepesh, Nepesh, have a term, nepesh, Nepesh, which means soul or breath. Soul or breath. Now you remember why do elders bless? Kabhi dekhe aap? You might have observed when we sneeze, their elder people actually bless us. Kabhi dekhe aap? God bless you, jeete raho. They give you a blessing. Why? Because many societies believe that the soul can escape through the nostrils. How, in what form it is? And it is actually closer to breathing. Breath or soul have the same term. That's the reason Nava, Nepesh, whatever may be the term, they have the same meaning. Soul, life, breath. That means life in the form of life or soul. For example, can you actually believe that the dead person has life? The dead person has got no life. And earlier, till earlier, before his death, this dead person was having soul in him. After he dies, the soul lives. Yesterday also we spoke about that, the body. So how it escapes? It escapes through the nostrils. This is the way out. And some people perhaps, it has got two reasons, of course. Once a person dies, through the nose, blood comes out. Usko prevent karne ke liye dal dete. Because there may be some life form existing. Perhaps that is also the reason, we don't know. They believe that while going away, the soul may get released. In that release process, also some blood may come out. Pata nahi. So immediately in the nostrils, this cotton is yahan pe dal dete hain, cotton. That means that person is gone. She is no longer breathing, number one. We cannot block a person who is alive with that. Only the dead people we notice. So what would be the logic? The only logic is there is a great link, relation between the soul and the nostrils and the breath. Next, the Tongans believe, the peninsular Malays, the peninsular Malay, Malays, the peninsular Malays believe in as many as 7 souls. The peninsular Malays believe in as many as 7 souls. Next, among the Caribs, Karibs, among the Caribs, the word, this is a word, Iouanni. The word Ioni means The word ioni means heart or life or soul. Heart or life or soul. So they have a same term for all the three English understandings. ये इनका basic idea है. Among the Tongans, Tongans, among the Tongans, there is a belief that the soul resides in the heart. Soul resides in the heart. In some societies, soul is considered as a shadow. Next, animatism. R.R. Marett, a student of E.B. Tyler, considered that humans believed in impersonal forces. Consider that humans believed in impersonal forces in nature and certain objects. In nature and certain objects. This sort of belief had created in humans religious feelings of awe, A-W-E, awe, fear, wonder, awe, fear, wonder, respect, admiration, and other psychical effects. He believed that primitive man could not distinguish. He believed that primitive man could not distinguish between the natural and supernatural, and also between living and dead, This condition that prevailed before the development of the idea of soul is called animatism, comma, which Marett named, after mana, which means innate power, innate power, INNATE, innate power in Melanesia and Polynesia. In Melanesia and Polynesia. Next, fetishism. Fetishism is nothing but attribution, ATTRIBUTION, attribution of inherent value or powers, comma, to an object. Now, next line. Earliest uses of the term fetishism, comma, are deeply rooted, are deeply rooted in the anthropological dynamics, of the encounter between European merchants and the people with whom they traded. A fetish, next line. A fetish derives its power from its associations. A fetish derives its power from its associations with a deity, DEITY, with a deity, full stop. It is distinguished from a totem. Comma, one member of a class of a reverenced objects, reverenced, REVERENCED, reverenced objects within the brackets, such as an animal and other members of its species, by its individuality. Next, naturism. Max Muller, MAX space MUELLER. Max Muller contended that since the gods in various societies were originally from natural phenomenon, comma, such as sun, comma, thunder, comma, trees, sun, thunder, trees, animals, mountains, forests, animals, mountains, forests, lakes, rivers, oceans, and so on, and so on. The human perception of nature, the human perception of nature must have must have had must have had very powerful agency, must have had very powerful agencies for origin of religion, for origin of religion, full stop. Nature was the greatest surprise, nature was the greatest surprise, comma, a terror, comma, a marvel, comma, a miracle which has also been permanent, which has also been permanent, comma, constant and regular occurrences. Regular occurrences. Next, totemism. Which one? Powerful agencies for origin of religion. Origin of religion. Next, totemism. The term totem refers to natural object or item either inanimate, inanimate, either inanimate or animate, with which a group of individuals identify themselves. The system of mystical attachment. The system of mystical attachment of groups of people. Mystical, you can underline the word mystical. Mystical attachment. Mystical attachment of groups of people. With totems. Is called totemism. And the group that observes totemism is called a totemic group. Next, a totem may be a plant, comma, or an animal, or even an object, like a rock. The members of a totemic group distinguish themselves from other groups by wearing totemic emblems by wearing totemic emblems as charms, 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 and by painting charms and by painting or tattooing the figure of the totem on the walls of their houses, comma, canos, CANOES, houses, canos, weapons, and even their body, Next, a prominent exhibit is a construction. A prominent exhibit is a construction and erection of a totemic pole. कल देखे ना हमने, you have seen that big totemic pole, POLE. Erection of a totemic pole representing the figure of the totem that is generally carved, CARVED, carved or painted in the locality where the specific group members reside, RESID. Totemism is widely prevalent in tribal India. Totemism is widely prevalent in India. The Santals have, SANTHALS, the Santals have hundreds of totemic groups, named after plants, comma, animals or objects. Next, the Gonds have, GONDS, the Gonds have a goat clan, GOAT, goat clan, whose members regard the goat as their totem, because a goat that had been stolen by their ancestors for sacrifice turned into a pig when the theft was discovered. And thus saving the thieves from punishment. Next, the Kamar tribe, KAMAR, the Kamar people live in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. The Kamar tribe of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh have totemic groups named as Netam, 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 within the brackets, tortoise, Sori, SORA, Sori, a jungle creeper, SORI, Sori, within the brackets, you write, a jungle creeper. Wag Sori, WAGH, Wag Sori, within the brackets, tiger. Nag Sori, snake. Sori, snake. Kunjam, goat, KUNJAM, Kunjam, goat, and so on. They believe in the Natham totem. They believe in the Natham, Netam, Natham totem, as it saved the tribe, the group, as it saved the group at the time of deluge. At the time of deluge means entire place is getting submerged because of flooding. At the time of deluge, Deluge, deluge. Among the Toda of Nilgiris, the buffaloes are the revered totems. The buffaloes are the revered, Revered. Revered means respected and worshipped. The buffaloes are the revered totems. Most of the rituals have to do with buffaloes. Most of their rituals have to do with buffaloes and the treatment of their milk. Women are not allowed to go near the buffaloes. Women are not allowed to go near the buffaloes as a matter of taboo. TABOO. You know what is taboo? Taboo का मतलब क्या है? Taboo means prohibition. No, you cannot go near that. Why? Because the buffaloes are considered sacred, and I told you many times, women are also considered as profane because they have this monthly cycle of menstrual cycle which is polluting. Next, the Oravans erect. The Oravans, Oraons. The Oravans erect wooden totem posts, and make occasional offerings to them. Totemism is thus, last line, totemism is thus an integral part of tribal religion in India. Integral part of tribal religion in India. Now, we'll take a break now. After returning, we'll talk about religion, science, and magic. So we'll now talk about next topic, magic, religion and science distinguished. So your syllabus setter wants you to understand the finer differences between magic, religion and science. And if you recollect, we had a discussion on magic, all this magic, science and religion in earlier class, when we noted that Fraser, who is Fraser? James George Fraser, a British anthropologist. Of course, he was described as an armchair anthropologist. He never went out to the field. He wrote voluminous books dominated by a great book, very famous book, which went to become a magnum opus and got published in 12 volumes. The Golden Bough. The Golden in Golden Bow's 12 volumes, this man has painted up an extraordinary fine print of the tribal lifestyle, because he has gathered information from the travelers, the missionaries, then the businessmen, enthusiasts who went out to the far and wide corners of the world and collected information. This man could not go into the field, but he has got the secondary sources of information from these travelers, missionaries, etc. So this man always became an armchair anthropologist. But that doesn't belittle his work. He has done some good work, especially documenting whatever information he has gathered from these different sources in books like the Golden Bough. So the discussion we had already, right, taken up in earlier class was when our Fraser was talking about 3 stages of human life. You remember? So 3 stages of human life, that is, we have savagery, barbarism and civilization. I'll just write the first letters: savagery, barbarism and civilization. And what did we gather there? In savagery, people followed a belief system called magic. In this phase of life, magic was dominating. Here, in barbarism, religion was the one people followed, and in civilization, science came up. So we got these 3. You see, magic, religion and science. Magic, religion and science. Similarly, Malinowski also wrote a book. You see here, यहाँ पे नाम दिख रहा है कि नहीं, I don't know आपको. Bronislaw Malinowski. He has written a book titled Magic, Science and Religion and Other Essays, with an introduction by Robert Redfield. This is a different man. I'll talk about Robert Redfield in paper 2 when we go to paper 2. So I'll tell you some interesting story of relationship between these 2 people. And earlier, just now, we have observed Fraser became a great anthropologist of his times, though he never first hand collected information from the field. He always relied on secondary sources of information. In spite of that, his books became bestsellers. One such book was, as I told you, Fraser's book called as magnum opus, means a big work. In English, it is actually big work. Usually, this term magnum opus is used to describe a big book by a big scholar. For example, Primitive Culture is a magnum opus of E.B. Tyler. Ancient Society is a magnum opus of L.H. Morgan. Similarly, Golden Bough was the magnum opus of Fraser. And you can imagine, it was published in 12 volumes, right from the 19th century to the 20th century. It crossed 2 centuries and got published in 12 volumes. You can imagine the impact this book created in the people who got attracted towards anthropology. One such person who got attracted to anthropology was our Malinowski. Malinowski also chose anthropology because somehow it was like very interesting tale when he came to England from Poland, because Malinowski was born in Poland. He was a Polish citizen. Okay. And in Poland, he was pursuing mathematics. He's a mathematics genius. He's a very big player in mathematics. And naturally, in the 19th century, people made a beeline to London and England in general, and London in particular. Like even today, UK is our destination. London for many people who want to make their name, like America these days. Those days, because the world was dominated by Britain, everybody wanted to become famous after going to London. This man also landed in London with his mathematics background. He already saw many scientists. All the other fields were completely crowded. So, but his basic target in life was to become a big man, and his name should come in the telephone directory. And in London, those days, only famous people's name was entered into the telephone directory, not of every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So he never wanted to become counted with the Toms, Dicks, and Harrys, but he wanted to make a name etched for himself permanently in the history's annals. So this man comes to England, and during the course of his life journey, he falls sick. He falls sick, and he in the room he gets this book, Golden Bough. And in this, why after reading this book, he falls in love with anthropology. He becomes an ardent follower of anthropology as well as Fraser. And I must tell you another beautiful thing. Cut cheste in Telugu we say cut cheste. In 1890s and all, this man did not become famous. And you all know, in between 1914 and 1918, this man worked among the Trobriand Islanders during the First World War. It so happened that Malinowski was prevented to go out of Australia because from London, a group of Australians go there, Americans, all these people from different parts of the world gather in Australia to attend in a conference of anthropologists. So, a conference ko gaya hai. In that same time, First World War broke out. And Poland is an enemy nation to Britain. Britain was part of the Allied powers. Poland and its ruling kingdom was Austria. Austrian kingdom was ruling that. Austria became a part of Allied Axis powers. So both were enemies to each other. As a national of an enemy nation, this man was not prevented to go out from Australia after this conference was over. उसको एक ही चारा मिला है, either he has to stay calmly or he has to do some work. It's like a blessing in disguise. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And Malinowski takes up the job in the Trobriand Islanders. And this entire war period, the very intense period between 1914 and 1918, has offered him an excellent chance to work in these territories, especially the Trobriand Islands. There, he has noticed something exactly different to that of Fraser. Fraser jo bhi bola hai, in savagery, people practice magic. In barbarism, people followed religion. And in civilization, people looked towards science for their solutions. That means this man is trying to segregate things. That means people in savagery only will follow magic, as if this conveyed a message, as if only magic is followed in savagery, only religion is followed in barbarism, and only science is the solution for the problems of the people in civilization stage. But after working among the Trobriand Islanders, Malinowski has seen that, look, people practice all the three together. In fact, They are not so dumb. Like there was another French scholar called Levi Brule. This Levi Brule man has actually attacked primitive people, tribal people are irrational people. Like yesterday we have noted, some people call myths as irrational. You remember? L.H. Morgan, because he was coming from a lawyer background, he was a scientific man basically. So he believed myths as irrational, whereas others like Franz Boas and others said, no, in fact, they are a reality. They are also rational, they are logical. Levi-Strauss also said the same thing. Here also, Malinowski said, Mr. Levi Brule, you are absolutely wrong. Okay. And this man, after reading Golden Bough, he became a fan of Fraser. But the same Malinowski gave a befitting reply to these two gentlemen. On the one hand, like one shot, two butts. One man was your Fraser. Fraser, you just now you noted, he said these three different stages followed three different belief systems. But he said, no, Mr. Fraser, I don't agree with you. Similarly, there is a French scholar called Levi Brule, L-E-V-I-B-H-U-B-R-U-H-L. Levi Brule, a French scholar. This man said, as I told you, primitive people are irrational. They don't have reason at all. They are dumb people. Primitive people or the primitive societies in the world are irrational. So Malinowski Sahab, what did I say? Mr. Levi Brule, I too don't agree with you. I don't agree with you as well. I don't agree with Mr. Fraser on the one hand. I don't agree with Mr. Levi Brule also on the other, because I have studied the Trobriand Island communities, and I have written a book called Argonauts of the Western Pacific. In this book, I have started these discussions, and I have taken the discussion to the higher level in that next book, Religion, Magic and Science. So, in this initial book published in 1922, this man talked about the way Trobriand Island people were so rational. They were scientific people as well. They knew how to build canoes extraordinarily. They knew the terminology used by the modern European sailors. The terminology used by modern European sailors. So they have got a lot of terminology, based to how to deal with hydrodynamics, how to build the canoes, the structures, the triangles, all the shapes and sizes, the material used, how to withstand the high waves, otherwise your canoe will be broken and destroyed in the oceans and thunderstorms in the sea. So usko bachane ke liye, these people have developed extraordinary scientific rigor. And this kind of a scientific temper and rationality was not lesser than the European sailors, according to Tyler. So he has answered Levi Brule. He has also answered Fraser, saying that, Mr. Fraser, I don't agree with you, because magic, religion and science exist in same manner, in the simultaneously in the simple societies also. I have studied this, so I'm talking about this. Even in advanced societies, you can see that people believe in demons and souls. They take the help of exorcists. We sune a word, exorcist. On this, there is a movie also made. Exorcist matlab, the person who takes away the soul from that person. I'm a man living ordinary, healthily. Suddenly I am bewitched. In me, one soul enters, spirit enters, and I behave oddly. I beat people, I kill people, I behave oddly. I fly in the air, I do strange, weird things. And the family members notice, and they get the help of exorcists. Why? Because even civilized people believe in magic. Because magic deals with souls and spirits, magicians. These exorcist people are magicians. They may be priests also, but they should know some, something of a magic also. They should know about the magical spells so that they can repel, R-E-P-L, repel the attack by the magician. So when somebody is doing black magic also, some priest services are required. The priests are actually asked to come and help. So in this fashion, even civilized people also believe. In Trobrand, coming to Trobrand society, Malinowski said the Trobrander people do fishing. In fact, they go for fishing, right? And see, there are two types of fishing. And fishing is done in lagoons also. Fishing done in lagoons and deep waters and deep seas. L-A-G-O-O-N-S, lagoons, and the other is deep sea waters. Now you have to know what is a lagoon. A lagoon is a very small pond or some kind of a small area. Maybe this room or slightly bigger. Maybe that small lake or pond. With it not so deep, people can actually enter, people swim there, they can relax there. But in the lagoon also fish are available. The waters are not dangerous. The waters are calm and cool, and you definitely get some fish. A small amount of fish. Okay, whatever may be the fish amount, people do go for fishing, and during fishing, before going to the fishing, they never do any magical practices or rites. At the same time, these people, before going to the deep sea waters and deep sea fishing, okay, deep sea fishing in deep sea waters, they do elaborate rituals and magical spells. Just like we have said, Kula exchange ke liye jo jate hain, before going to the Kula, these people worship their spirits and take the help of magicians and priests. So people are smart enough. At the same time, this man gives some more examples. He talks about their garden cropping or gardening or garden cropping. So these people follow some garden cropping patterns where, as far as science is concerned, scientifically speaking or rationally speaking, these people are aware of the seasons. Seasons are known. I'm putting a tick mark. That means these people know seasons, then types of soil, which crop to use for which crop, okay, and types of soil and the crop to be sown or the crop to be grown. This knowledge they have. They have knowledge of the water, how much water should be given, and seasons, they have knowledge of the seasons, and many more. Like the way a modern day farmer does his farming. So these people are smart enough, they are not dumb people. Okay, but at the same time, what these people practice, before gardening operations start, a specialist will come. Usually the same person who oversees the supervising work of the garden cropping, he takes a break, asks all of the workers to assemble. Workers means his fellow country people, island people, to assemble, and they all do some religious practices. They offer some sacrifice or they do something. Why? They know that seasons, there are perfectly the soil type, the vegetable type, the manure, the weeding out, all the practical knowledge and scientific knowledge they are aware of. But at the same time, they do go for this worship. How do you explain? What is the understanding that religion and science exist together? They cannot be separate. Similarly, magic and religion and science exist together. That is the reason, after some years, after Argonauts of the Western Pacific was published, he thought, let me also develop this idea detailedly. I should write a detailed book. So he has titled the book as Magic, Science and Religion. So in this fashion, Mr. Malinowski has attacked two people with the same answer simultaneously. Okay, I'll give you some notes here. Kindly take these points. as far as magic, science, and religion is concerned. You put the title Magic, Science, and Religion distinction, then maybe you have copied all this. In spite of that, you just write down my write up. Malinowski rejected a French scholar, Levi Bruhl's idea. A French scholar, Levi Bruhl's idea that primitive people have a definite aversion. Primitive people have a definite aversion, aversion, aversion to reasoning. Have a definite aversion to reasoning, full stop. He says that every primitive community, is in possession, Possession, possession of a considerable store of store of knowledge. A considerable store of knowledge, full stop. Comma, based on experience and fashioned by reason. Based on experience and fashioned by reason, full stop. He gives examples of behavior. He gives examples of behavior related to the arts, comma, crafts, related to the arts, crafts, and economic activities of the Trobriand Islanders. And economic activities of the Trobriand Islanders, full stop. This behavior is clearly separate from magic and religion, and it is based on empirical knowledge, and on the confidence in logic. Confidence in logic, full stop. Malinowski calls this the profane side of life. Malinowski calls this the profane side of life, comma, that is the side which is not religious. The side which is not religious or magical. Full stop. He shows that the natives themselves, keep the area of the profane, apart from religion and magic. Apart from religion and magic. Full stop. Now you write this example. I'll write on the board, you just copy. Example 1. So earlier we spoke about two examples, no? One is the gardening one and the other is their knowledge about cano building. Example 1, gardening crops or their cultivation. Usage of, you write first one, usage of implements like digging stick, eggs, etc. When they use these, they get enough food for the entire population. And sometimes they get surplus out of this. And with this, they get the knowledge of the soil type also. And suitable crops, soil type and suitable crops. And with this, they put up hard work at the right time and right place. At the right time and place. And they get through observation and experience more knowledge about this. Observation and experience. Knowledge of weather and seasons. Knowledge of weather and seasons. And finally, confidence on the reliability of their knowledge. They definitely have confidence on the reliability of their RELI ability of their knowledge. So it is like one thing is related to the other. It's like a cyclical thing. And with this, definitely, again, they'll continue to use these items again, like the digging stick, hoe, etc. Again, they'll get food for the entire population, sometimes soil type and particular suitable crops and vegetables. Hard work based on the soil type. and right time and right place में जो hard work करना है, they will do that, and they gain more knowledge. They align their knowledge about seasons, etc., and weather, etc., to these crops, and all will lead to more confidence on the reliability of their knowledge. So they are confident about their knowledge. They are not dumb people. See, what is the ultimate message that this man is trying to project? These people are not dumb people as projected by Levi Brule. And now take a dictation of the others, the continuation. In some, in space SUM, in some, it is evident, in some, it is evident that the natives possess, in some, it is evident that the natives possess a rational outlook, that the natives possess a rational outlook to their surroundings, and command a fair degree of control over it. Full stop. Next, in spite of this knowledge and rationality, the Trobrianders conduct annual series of rites, RITS, annual series of rites relating to gardening, both the above are separate. Both the above means one is their rational outlook, the other is their religious belief. Both the above, within the brackets you write rational outlook and religious rites. So whenever we are talking about rational outlook, you should think it is science. It belongs to the domain of science. Okay, rational outlook and religious rites relating to gardening are kept separate because their results are clearly distinguished by the natives. Coming to the annual rites, of gardening, the Trobrianders feel them absolutely necessary for successful gardening, and despite several decades of European influence, continue these rites, RITS, rights, full stop. They also believe that if ignored, that, comma, if ignored, comma, it might lead to, it might lead to blights, 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 comma, droughts, blights, droughts, 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 floods, floods, comma, pests, 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 and wild animal attacks. The religious and magical rites are also necessary. The religious and magical rites are also necessary to address the uncertainties of agriculture. To address the uncertainties of agriculture, like crop failure, lack of rains, and locust attacks. Uncertainties of agriculture like crop failure, lack of rains, and locust attacks. Thus the unknown, comma, the unaccountable, the unaccountable are coped with, coped with the help of magic. Coped with the help of magic. The true branders take important care regarding the time and place, of gardening, place of the ceremony, wait a minute, time and place of the performance, of the gardening rites, time and place of the performance of gardening rites, which are clearly specified, and separated from day to day gardening operations. Full stop. During magical performances, comma, gardening work is prohibited. Gardening work is prohibited. Full stop. Next point. The same person who performs magical rites doubles as doubles as gardening supervisor, and never he mixes both. Now we will draw another diagram of this sort. Okay, coming to the second example, example 2, that is canoe building. As far as canoe building is concerned, these people have an excellent terminology. as we have noted, the terminology that these people use are equivalent to the modern European sailors terminology. It's so rich and complex that it is equivalent to the terminology of modern sailors' terminology. That means these people are not second to none. Next, these people possess extensive knowledge of the material to be used. I told you, right? The material. Then they definitely possess. This is another point. They also possess extensive knowledge of the principles of stability. That is, what are the principles? If they use in the ocean, that the canoe becomes stable and it will sail smoothly. Stability and hydrodynamics. So how much is the force of water? With what force we should sail? All that. Then the length of the outrigger. There is something called as outrigger length. And length of the canoe. How much it should be, like whether it can, heavy canoe can take sailing actually. I mean, can it sustain the sailing? Yes, of knowledge. And mechanics of boat making. Mechanics of boat making. And finally, action to be taken up during storm. I'm writing it this, don't write like this, you put a proper line. Action to be taken during storm. So in this way, the Trobriand people possess extensive knowledge and rationality, reasoning, logic, scientific thinking as far as canoe building and sailing is concerned. So these people are not so inferior to the European modern sailors. So kindly note them down. Okay? All of in the same way. Acha. So write a concluding line then. In spite of all this knowledge and experience, in spite of all this knowledge and experience, the Trobrianders perform magical rites. The Trobrianders perform magical rites before venturing into the high seas, HIGH, high seas, for space LONG. Sorry. For long kula and other expeditions so that they address the uncertainties, UNCERTAINTIES, certainties of the high sea voyages. Uncertainties of the high sea voyages. Okay, so this is something about magic, science, and religion, and Now, if you want to compare all of these, how do you do? So, how can actually we understand magic, science, and religion? This is a general thing where everybody is present. But usually, examiner has got a tendency to ask magic and science, science and religion, magic and religion, like that. Sometimes all the three he asks. So you need to have a comparative account. How do you compare them when we understand the basic nature of all these three? For example, magic. Usually, magic, how it is performed? Magic is performed. Is it performed openly? Number one. No, it is not performed openly. It is performed secretively. Who are the performers? So these are the magico-religious performers and basically magicians. These are not the magicians that we know. I told you, right? They perform good magic, mostly black magic or harmful magic. And based on their activity, the other person suffers. Usually, it is done for harmful ends. So people hire magicians, black magicians, to harm their enemies. So they believe that if something goes wrong in my body, they believe that somebody has done black magic, and I should engage one person to ward off ward off OFF, or to repel that magic. So this person goes and approaches the priest or shaman or a witch doctor. There are three different names, but more or less all are the same. Usually, shaman and witch doctor are same. Priest is still open, and he is found in agricultural societies also. But in primitive societies like hunting and gathering societies, we don't find priests. We find shaman or the medicine man. The shaman man also acts as a witch doctor, WITCH. He's not a ordinary person. He has special powers. He has bulgy eyes. Sometimes his eyes come out. His tongue rolls. He can eat the food of 10 people. Even he's chained, he can break the chains. He can make stones into pieces. He can talk to the eagles. He can talk to the spirits. He goes into trance kind of a thing. He goes into ecstatic modes. He brings out froth from the mouth. He rolls down on the ground. एक मिनट एक बार मजल ऐसा पकड़ता है when some rarely it happens. I got my medicine ready. Rarely when I'm stressed it acts like that. This medicine acts immediately. It's called Rustox in homeopathy. Immediately it will actually stop the muscles. Yesterday also I told you I'm not feeling well. I had a muscle catch. यहाँ पे पूरा पकड़ लिया था. Sometimes here also it happens. ऐसा. So this man called as shaman is a Siberian word. So shaman is also the savior of the people. Whenever some problems come, like fish are not available, people are suffering without fish because Eskimo people, Siberian people, they all live in frozen areas. Many times they don't get the fish. So these shaman or medicine people have special powers. They can talk to the spirits. They can actually feel them in the dreams, and they have special powers such that they will find out where the fish are present. In other kinds of hunting and gathering communities, shaman people know where the game animals are there. So because of experience and all, some of them become shamans, and shamans usually do the good for the society. Do good for the society. On the contrary, there are people like in the magic, we are talking about magic only. So within magic, we are talking about these magico-religious functionaries. These are, of course, the PYQs. Later also we can talk about them, right? So this, as I told you, shaman is like, this man is a positive man. Usually this is a positive person. This is also a positive person. Sorcerer is a negative person, and witch is a negative person. Priest is also a positive person. So 3 positives and 2 negatives. These two do black magic. These two do black magic. The shaman, medicine man, priest, etc. do white magic. These people do white magic. What is white magic? White magic means good magic. This white magic results in the good of the society. It results in good things, in good of the society, of the people or society. Whereas black magic results in the bad of the society. That means it leads to harmful effects. Of course, black magic can also harm and hurt individuals. Black magic can also be harming individuals as well as groups. Now, within these two people, for example, now let us talk about first magic, then we'll come to religion and science. Okay, first we are talking about magic. So, in magic, we have to talk about magicians. Who are the magicians? From the negative side, we have to talk, because once these people perform black magic or bad magic, these people save the people. That's the reason we will start with the reverse. Okay, and how these people are actually to be identified. Sorcerer people, for example, sorcerers. If you are talking about sorcerers, sorcerers are in fact these are people who learn black magic from some secretively. Sorcerers learn magical rites and magic from their ancestors and outsiders secretively. So they cannot do this openly. And these people, sorcerers, use some material like, what are this? The skulls, etc. Some nimbu, some haldi, some kind of a diagram. They do all these drawings, no? They use some material, and they also use some kind of bones and needles. Then atta. Atta means this wheat flour. Atta kyun banate hai bhai? They make atta, and with that small atta, they make a doll of the person, and they start piercing the person with needles. Either kareta, then that person suffers. I am getting pain here. If I'm getting pain everywhere, that means somebody is doing black magic. So these people believe in that, and they are paid, and they are, of course, all of them are conducted secretively. Whereas if you compare them with the witches, witchcraft is actually done by witches. These are done by, of course, by sorcerers. Both, of course, do black magic. Witches are hereditary people. They possess some innate powers. They need not learn some black magic from anything. Even if they wish, if I wish, I see strongly in your eyes and I say, you have to be destroyed, you will be destroyed. You have to die, you will die. Or you have to suffer, you suffer. Your hand has to go like this, your hand will become like this. ये सब करते हैं कौन? Witches. And if you see, even in developed areas, if you just walk 50 kilometers outside Hyderabad and Bangalore and many cities in India, people today, even today, practice black magic and believe in black magic. Recently, I told you one example in this class only. One man and his mother were killed, presuming them to be accusing the accused fellow, accused them. Accused means the criminal who killed them, accused these people of doing black magic. And his wife was not present, otherwise she would also have been killed. So, itna darte log. And now we are talking about tribal people. I've studied somewhere in a newspaper that a woman went around Assam, hundreds of villages she has traveled, and started pleading to the people that don't believe in black magic. These tribal people, because her son died of that, and somebody killed her son or someone. This woman was going touring the entire Assam and praying to every villager, every tribal person, please don't believe all this nonsense. This is absolutely nonsense. This is ridiculous. Nobody dies of black magic. It is because of disease. You have to go to the nearest doctor, you get the treatment, that the person will be saved. People don't die because of spirits or evils. You need to take them to the nearest hospitals. Now देखो इसीलिए थोड़ा थोड़ा डेवलपमेंट आ रहा है, like people are taking people to hospitals, villagers, but still some stupids will be there, some traditional people, orthodox people still believe in this because they don't have the reason how the person dies. They cannot actually spend for diagnosis and treatment. See, if we get some problem, we go to the doctor, doctor says you undergo this test, a blood test, ye sab karao. Those people may not do, they don't have money, sometimes they don't believe also, so they go to the shaman or medicine man. The medicine man gives them some tonics, some potion, POTIONS, some stones, some क्या बोलते हैं ना ये talisman, और उसको क्या बोलते हैं यार, sacred threads or talismans as fetishes to ward off the evil. So they do some kind of some magical performance. They give some powder, some tablets, कैसा कुछ देता है, पता नहीं क्या liquids देता है, and that is a medicine for that. And that is known as in Telugu we call it as Natu Vaidhyam. Natu means rough. Nati bolte Karnataka mein Nati style. Nati means rough. It's like village and rugged style, not a polished style like the city people do. So this Natu medicine or ethro medicine is the one practiced by medicine man. Already covered shaman, medicine man. And what about the witchcraft and sorcery? That is witch. This is done by witches. Witches may be male and female. And usually these people have some typical body parts and they get all this by inheritance. It is, witchcraft is actually inherited. So they need not actually, as I told you, go and learn some black magic from some XYZ person. Just by the way they think, right? To harm others, the other person will be harmed. They get this innate supernatural powers. And thought and emotion themselves are alone of these people. The way, as I told you, if I think that I should cause harm to you, you will be harmed. In that fashion, witches act. Sorcerers do bring harm from external activities. Okay, in this again, magic is of two types. Magic basically is of two types. One is contagious magic, the other is imitative magic. Contagious magic works on the principle. What is the principle here? Contagious means you get a contagious disease, right? We get contagious disease when something is spread. What is the principle here? Once in contact, always in contact. Once in contact, always in contact. What about the principle here invoked in the imitative magic? This relies on the principle called like produces the like. Like produces like. If I roll down, if as a group of people we are mundas or the goans, a group of goans go on top of a hill, just take a big boulder, and we have become successful in pushing the boulder down the hill. The boulder goes on rolling down and it comes with a thunderous sound. It makes a big sound, da 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 da, as a bada sound aata na. The Gonds believe that the rolling of the sound made by the rumbling, or that rumbling sound made by the rolling or the rolling stone or big boulder, mimics the sound made by the clouds. The thunderstorms, usko bolte hain thunderstorm. Before rain, we get thunderstorm. While the rain or slightly before rain, light also comes. Lightning, thunderstorm, rain. The thunderstorm is a big sound. The thunderstorm is equivalent to the sound made by the rolling stones or boulders. What is this actually? This example is like produces like. If I do this, there also the heavens will open up. The gods will also do some activity. They will bring down the rain. This is done by the Gond people. You can write the example in your own words. Gond people rolling down, okay, rolling down the big boulders from the top of mountains, from top of hills. Why? To bring rain. To bring rain. And what is the principle behind this? The rain, the sound, the rumbling sound of the rolling down boulder will result in the rain, and the thunderstorm will bring the rain. That is the belief. And what about once in contact, always in contact? The body parts. The body parts are particles, right? Like, what are the body parts? Like nails, hair, clothes, even feces of the people. Feces, people even take the fecal material of the person and try to do harm to the person through them. Have you ever questioned, yesterday we have noted one interesting thing. Have you ever questioned why your nails, your elders always ask your nails to be deposited outside the home? घर में नहीं निकालना. Carefully usko dafnana ya to you have to deposit them. Why? Because your nails may be collected by someone. This belief is today's belief. Even in civilized world, we are believing. Earlier, when we were in barbarism, we were completely village kind of people, our ancestors, they believed also strongly. Why? Because their ancestors believed in black magic. People will pick up your nails and through them, they will harm you. Because the nails are supposed to be alive even after separation. There is life in your nails. There is life in your hair. And since the clothes are in contact with you, once in contact, always in contact. And feces also were once part of our body. Now they are outside. That doesn't mean they are not in contact with us. So the black magic is conducted through these particles or parts of the body. That is the reason it is called contagious magic. Now this is magic for you. And what about religion? Religion is actually carried by the priests and medicine men and shaman openly. Though shaman is a very typical thing, it doesn't exactly come in religion, under religion or magic. They are just somewhere in the middle. But coming to the religious people like priests, priests are the representatives of, you see, priests are the representatives of, or the harbingers of religion. The embodiments of religion. Religion is made possible or carried forward by priests. So these people act as links between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The ordinary and the extraordinary. And of course, in this only or, you can say or, this world and that world. This world and that world. Or you can even say or the mundane and the universal soul. Mundane means ordinary. The ordinary soul. जीवात्मा परमात्मा, इन दोनों के बीच में कौन है भाई? रिलीजन. Priest. You see, have you seen any Shraddha ceremony performed without priest? Through the priest services, this Atma is going and joining the Paramatma. Paramatma is a universal soul or the larger, bigger soul. Jivatma is a small soul. This is one example. And priests are always they ward off, they do two things. Either one is they ward off evil spirits with their क्या बोलते हैं ना, with their spells, with their sermons, with their services, okay, with their correct word is verses. And they also give a positive energy to the people, to the society. They never talk about anything negative, right? Priest के पास जाते हैं ना लोग. So what they say? No, beta, ठीक हो जाएगा. No problem. You do this, you do this. Or in case of a trouble, already you have come to the trouble, then you don't do this, don't do this. They just simply prescribe do's and don'ts. Of course, sometimes they take a fee, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they suggest another medicine man. They suggest some activity by the person, but they never harm the people. So, religion is always practiced openly. I'm combining both the topics, religion, magic and science. Magico-religious functionaries, which is in the last part of your syllabus. Priest, medicine man, shaman, witch and the sorcerer. So both are actually related to each other, except science. In science, we have scientists, so we don't have much to talk about science. We have anthropology is basically interested in magic and religion, mostly again in magic. So religion is basically performed, how? Is it performed secretly? No, openly it is performed. And usually in religion, we have gods and goddesses. You can write, in religion we have gods and goddesses, or the priest deals with it, but the better word is, in religion, the priest deals with. So when you are writing your answer, you have to write like this only. If you write only about religion, magic and science, you will not get best marks. You have to link the roles of priest, shaman, medicine man, witch and sorcerer in the context, within that context. So this man deals with what? Gods and goddesses. The priest deals with, sorry, gods and goddesses usually. But what about the magician? The magician or that sorcerer, he tries to manipulate the spirits. He also deals with the spirits. He tries to manipulate the spirits. He never supplicates or submissively speaks to the spirits. Whereas a spirit submissively, he submits completely 100% in the service of the God, because God is more powerful force than the spirits. And if you compare both of them, God sit above the spirits. So spirits are somewhere in the middle. Gods cannot be manipulated, but you can only go and supplicate. It's called supplicative. The activity of a priest is supplicative, submissive. You can write that line. The priest acts in a submissive manner. The activity of priests are submissive and supplicative. Now, what are the activities of that this man? Magician. Magician manipulates the evil spirits or the spirits. He tries to manipulate. He tries to coerce. तो आजा चंडा आजा ऐसा डरा था. इसका language भी बहुत भयानक रहता है. Like the priest cannot speak like. Have you seen a priest speaking to like that? Priest speaking to God. तो आजा आज को तुमको आना ही पड़ेगा. ऐसा करता है क्या? He never does that. He simply submits. Avahayami, stapayami, pujayami. ऐसा बोलता है ना? Avahayami. He avahayami means he invokes, he calls, he establishes all the gods around and tries to conduct that performance, and the gods are taken as witness. Otherwise, this activity, this social activity called marriage, birth, death, or etc., are not sacred. They will become sacrificial. Sacred only with the presence of or witness of the gods and goddesses. evil spirits or spirits will come here to harm that fellow. Whereas gods and goddesses will come and bless, or they just be witness. Even when we go to the marriage, what you're supposed to do? Khana khale ke liye jate ho? Nahi. You have to first bless them, witness them, then eat and go. Even evil spirits also are called, but they're not called by very smooth manner. They are dragged here. They are pushed to harm that fellow, inflict some damage. Then whether you take the blood of the fellow or eat of the flesh of the fellow, it is your problem. Blood and flesh are available. You drink the blood. You drink the blood. That is your food. That's the reason they give bali. It needs blood and that flesh. Spirits always want blood. Gods and goddesses will not. So usually, if you see religious ceremonies, people, though they serve non-vegetarian, they serve in a cooked manner, not in a raw manner. So all that is slightly different kind of a thing between magic and science and religion. Okay, science of course is different. Science का मैं कल बताता हूँ, but how it is exactly. And science is completely different because it is based on evidence, it is based on cause and effect, it is based on theories, it is based on laws, it is based on reasoning, it is based on judgment, it is based on criticism. Already established law is criticized by others, and ultimately, in the ultimate analysis, it deals with the natural world. It belongs to the domain of the natural. Whereas I told you in the beginning, both magic and religion belong to the domain of the supernatural. You remember in the very first day I told you, yesterday or 2 days back, religion and magic both belong to the domain of supernatural. I told you, which are above natural. We can't see the spirits or gods and goddesses, but you can see scientific principles. If I kick my bike, if I put that button on, it will come to life. What is happening? Entire scientific mechanism. And it is proved. Whereas you cannot prove religion, you cannot prove the spirits. You can only feel that they exist. Here you cannot feel they exist. You can actually see and touch, and with your senses you can actually visualize and understand the natural phenomena. So this is something about science. ठीक है? ये सब डिटेल में आपको पूरा हैंडआउट में दिया गया है. If at all I feel some notes to be shared, I will share in the first session in the next class. Right, then we'll call it a session.